I'm getting ready to show you how to remove the pocket from a sweater or dress. A lot of times your clothing won't hang right. The pocket just makes it bulgy on the sides. We want to streamline it. So I normally go ahead and pin the line where we're going to sew it, where we're going to stitch it. I don't want to have to reserge it. Most people don't have sergers. So I'm going to clip the fabric away from the inside of the serge seam. I'm going to go ahead and start this one. So you can see I've got one done, and I'm going to do the other. And you can see this is the pocket, and this is the body of the sweater. I'm going to carefully clip along this lines from end to end. Be careful not to clip the fabric or the knit part of the body, and try not to clip your serging so we could retain that, and I'll show you how to do that later. We come to this little area where there's there's 4 pieces of fabric that connect. Clip all of that excess where you can, so you can get that out of there and it's not bulgy when you sew it with the sewing machine. So we'll get that all together, and we're going to lay that out flat, and then I'm going to show you what I do. This is a knit fabric, and you could do this with a sweater, but I used a knit needle. It's the yellow band needle. So bear that in mind when you're doing it, because you want that to be able to stretch as you sew appropriately. I'm just putting in a small seam, the same as the original seam that it had, so it looks flawless when you're wearing it. You don't want there to be a difference in the seam. And it's real hard in this knit fabric or in sweaters to see where the seam is. Where you clipped the seam, those 2 original seams that held that pocket in, it's going to want to shift and move up. You know, just push it down and squeeze it and stitch over that. But make sure you get that down there so it doesn't show as much. That'll make a big difference too. So I'm cleaning up all this hot mess. The thing is we're not going to reserge this. We're going to connect the 2 sides of the sweater so it appears to be one serged piece. We don't want this to be bulky because that would defeat the purpose. I'm just doing a whip stitch over this. And as you see with knits and with sweaters, it's real difficult to see where you've been and not been, but that's the goal, is to make it look seamless. And I'm going to go through the whole pocket all the way across. We'll see if it's something or nothing. This end didn't have the proper continuity in the stitching and where that serging was, so I'm going to pull these stitches together. I'm inside that serging and the knit itself to draw it in, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to go all the way around that serging so we can even it out. You can see how it's a little bulky here, and we lost some of the serging on that. So I'm going to do a blanket stitch. I'm going to show you how I do that blanket stitch. It's a whip stitch, but you stick the needle back in and you pull it, and it's a little bit more like the serging looks itself. It was machine done. You can see I made the stitch. Instead of just whipping through, I pulled that thread and needle through that loop. That way it loops on the outside and looks more like the serging. There's one more. There we go. I think this is a pretty good do-over. The pocket appears to be nearly gone. And on this side, you could see the seam, and it really worked out nice.